Howdy y'all, and welcome to Craters Gaming. Today we're going to be working on my homebrew dungeon. Trust me, it'll look a lot better than my drawing. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Start off with, we're going to go ahead and measure out 1-inch squares for our grid pattern. I am using just a regular ballpoint pen, making sure that the indentions go down a little deep, and then I'll be drawing on cracks and broken stones. Once we get around to doing the dry brushing process, this is when this process will really pop. Say that 3 times fast, you get tongue-tied. There's no rhyme or reason on where I put these, it's just willy-nilly. Now I am using a rolled up tinfoil or aluminum, however you want to say it. I'm old school, so it's still tinfoil to me. Ball, or you can use a rock to make the indentions to help give it more of a rocky look. This portion of the video, I am going to pause to remind y'all that you can buy us a coffee and get a shout out. All proceeds go to buying supplies and helping out the channel, and are greatly appreciated. At this step of the process, I am going in 4 blocks or 4 inches. I'm going to do this 3 times and you will see why here in a minute. Once everything gets cut out, we're going to line them up just right, and then we're going to go ahead and cut out our pattern that we're going for. It's going to be kind of a swampy pool that the players are going to have to figure out how to either drain or how to go around it. Just need to cut off that extra little piece right there because it's not needed, but it works. Once you cut out the desired shape, you're going to go ahead and separate these. This is why they're not glued together just yet. I'm going to go ahead, and here's where I made a mistake. I should not have done 2 of them at a time because I'm going to have to go through and fix it. So I'm not perfect, and I'll show you what I do here in a minute. And it's about here where I realized my mistake. It's like, gosh darn it. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and cut this piece off, and we're going to kind of shape it a little bit the way it's not a sharp, jagged edge. It kind of drips down into the pool. And then we're going to glue all these pieces together. Now, in hindsight, I would have used my trusty hot glue gun. It would have been so much faster than using the tacky glue that I ended up using, than having to pin everything together. And I tell you, this took days. It took days. And you will have to use some straight pins to hold it together to keep it from sliding all over the place. There are actually several things that I would have done different in this, including putting some hot glue on the sides to give it more of a rocky look. After I give up fiddle farting with it, I'm going to go ahead and put my straight pins in to keep it from sliding around. This was a day later and it was still kind of wet, but I go ahead and got my hot wire and cut what I forgot to do at the beginning, some stairs going up into the pool. And also out of the pool, in case they survive. I don't like the way that end looks, so I'm going to go ahead and make that even. Then I'm going to get my trusty ink pen and finish drawing the grid lines that I had on there before and ended up cutting off. Not forgetting to put in some texture, I got out my aluminum foil to go ahead and do that. This piece not being XPS foam, be a little careful because it's kind of delicate. It'll break very easily. It being reinforced like that, after it dries, it's become very sturdy. To add to my dry time, we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of PVA glue and glue down some rocks. Since it looks like this is going to have another day's worth of drying anyway, because the glue did not want to dry right. And this is just fine sand from my backyard. We don't do things too expensive here, Craters Crafting. So we just use what we got 99% of the time. Now we're just going to base coat it in some Army Painter spray paint that does not eat the foam. Now we're going to do 3 layers of dry brushing, starting with Territorial Beige. And I'm not going to show you all 3 of those pieces being dry brushed because that'd be boring. That's not good content. I will show you each application and how it looks. Not forgetting the sides because it's part of it. Switching over to a khaki color, we're going to go ahead and dry brush it again. And as you can see, I did do those other pieces, but I didn't force y'all to watch. I know it looks kind of bright right now, but with all acrylics, it does tend to dry a little darker. And if you go a little too heavy-handed, don't worry, we can always touch it up with some wash later, or we can do other things, like moss. For the final dry brushing, we're using Pavement Gray, and I'm just deciding where I want to put it. It's not going all over. Just little touch-ups here and there to make it look more authentic. Spooky. For the fun part, I'm using googly eyes to make it look like it's a bubbling pool. Like I said before, use what you got. And I have a lot of googly eyes, don't ask me why. Now with the glue gun, I am making little patterns and little swirls to kind of give it a little bit more definition on where I want my paint to be. Speaking of paint, it will be the Slime Green, again by Army Painter, because it dries kind of glossy. And you only have to do 2 applications with it. I'm going to apply it directly onto the piece because I don't want to waste any of it. Just try not to get the slime all the way up the walls unless that's what you want. I just want to give it kind of the effect that it looks like a pool in the middle of the dungeon. Did add a few drops of dark brown to make it look even more disgusting. Didn't want to step in this, much less get my body into it, so we'll see how our players are able to work with us. Here you have the finished product. I really like how it turned out. Well, there you have it. Super easy. Not so quick because the glue dry time, it took a couple of days for it to dry. In the future, I will be using my hot glue method. Just had to fight with the stringers, which is fine with me. I just don't have the patience to sit there and wait for it to dry. But if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, share the channel. It helps out a whole lot, and I hope to see y'all again next week. Bye.